Arizona lawmakers have passed a bill that critics say amounts to state-sanctioned discrimination against gays and lesbians. Today, despite protests, that bill now heads to Republican Governor Jan Brewer's desk for the final say. Now, supporters of the bill claim it's all about religious liberty because it protects, quote, the ability to act or refusal to act in a manner substantially motivated by a religious belief, whether or not the exercise is a compulsory or central to a larger system of religious belief, end quote. The bill's supporters hope to protect businesses from discrimination lawsuits if they refuse service based on religious beliefs, like a photographer in New Mexico who was sued after he refused to take wedding pictures of a gay couple. But Democrats and gay rights supporters are absolutely outraged. Here's more from Rebecca Thomas from KPHO.
And we saw it with Russia in the Olympics. I mean, hey, I'm not sure if Russia is actually any less progressive than Arizona now around gay rights, to be quite honest with you.
Representative Chad Campbell is one of 27 House members who voted against SB 1062. He says 33 others voted for a state-sanctioned discrimination bill. The bill would protect businesses, individuals, and other entities from discrimination lawsuits if they refuse service based on their religious beliefs. But supporters deny it targets the LGBT community.
In America, people should be free to live and work according to their faith.
I don't see this as an attack insofar as those who believe in when you're protecting your right to practice your religion and not engage in a contract.
Some business owners worry SB 1062 would give Arizona another black eye and result in an economic backlash akin to what happened after SB 1070, our state's controversial immigration enforcement law, was signed.
It's sending a message to progressive global-based companies that this is not a friendly environment to work within or to have a business within.
To me, what this says is Phoenix and Tucson and Flagstaff have non-discrimination ordinances that protect LGBTQ people, and we in the House of Representatives and we in the Senate do not like that.
Governor Jan Brewer will have the final say on SB 1062. Opponents urge her to make a wise decision.
Think about what this says to the rest of the country. We are not Russia. We are a First Nation, and as an American, we have the rights. We have civil rights, so think about that.
CNN has reached out to the governor's office for comment. We're waiting to hear back, but the LA Times does report Governor Brewer's office says she will not take a position until she has reviewed the legislation. Joining me now to talk more about this, Arizona State House Democrat Chad Campbell, whose interview you saw at the beginning of that piece, and constitutional attorney Pate. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Chad, I want to start with you. Explain your biggest fear about this law or this bill if it passes.
Well, let there be no doubt about what this bill does. It's going to allow people to discriminate against the gay community in Arizona. It goes after unprotected classes of people, and we all know that the biggest unprotected class of people in this state is the LGBT community. And the supporters of this bill, the Republicans on the floor yesterday, admitted as much. And if we were having this conversation in regard to African Americans or women, there would be outrage across the country about this. But right now, this is targeted towards the gay community, and the far right views that as okay, and it's simply not acceptable.
So is it your fear if a gay person were to go in a restaurant, for example, the restaurant owner could say, you know, your way of life violates my religious beliefs, so please leave?
Yeah, that is my fear, and I think it's going to happen. We've seen the story about the photographer in New Mexico, for instance, and the Republicans who supported this brought that story up yesterday. And I asked many of the sponsors of this bill if they would support a photographer who refused to take a picture of an interracial couple, for instance. And of course they said, no, I would never support that, but it's okay to them to support a photographer who discriminates against a gay couple. And again, this is just a horrible message for Arizona to send to the nation, to the world. It's a very bad day for Arizona, and I can tell you, most Arizonans do not support this. I truly believe that.
I want to put the law up again. We had a graphic that has part of the law written out, and it's very convoluted. The ability to act or refusal to act in a manner substantially motivated by a religious belief, whether or not the exercise is compulsory or central to a larger system of religious belief. Now, most people would say, what? So Pate, I will pose that to you. Will this law accomplish what Chad is afraid of?
I don't think so. First of all, we have to recognize that in Arizona, you don't have the same problem or the same issue that they did in New Mexico. New Mexico has a state statute that prohibits public businesses, photographers, what have you, from specifically discriminating against people because of their sexual orientation. That law is not present in Arizona. So this bill is really a solution in search of a problem.
So,
And if I may, really quickly though, we have cities that have protected status for the LGBT community, and that is the problem. That's what most people outside of Arizona don't realize. Phoenix, for instance, has a protected status for gay people, for the LGBT community. This bill will supersede the Phoenix ordinance and make and allow businesses in Phoenix to now discriminate. So we do have the same problem they had in New Mexico at the city level, and that's why this bill has been sponsored and passed. It's a direct attack on the cities that are trying to protect their citizens.
I think conservatives might say what this bill really does is maybe you know, a religious person doesn't want to marry a same-sex couple because it violates religious belief. He doesn't want to be forced to do that. So this law protects him.
I don't think it's a First Amendment issue as far as exercise of religion. Normally, when the First Amendment prohibits governments or legislatures from forcing someone to engage in some sort of religious activity that they don't believe in, any law that we're talking about now that would allow public accommodation and refuse discrimination does not compel religious activity. What it is it's neutral. It's neutral. It doesn't require anyone to do something that they don't believe in. And it is likely to be unconstitutional if this state legislature steps up and says, look, even though we're not going to put it in the bill, the intent of this bill and the effect of this bill will be to discriminate based on sexual orientation.
And Chad, a last question about Governor Brewer. She has vetoed similar legislation. Do you think she'll do the same this time?
I would hope so. Again, on moral grounds, I hope she's opposed to this. On economic grounds, I hope she's opposed to this. We're basically putting up a big sign at the front door of Arizona telling businesses, we don't want you to come to Arizona, telling certain people, we don't like your kind, we don't want you in this state, if this bill goes into law. So I'm hopeful the governor will veto this bill. She vetoed it last year, so I hope she does the right thing again this year and sends a message to Arizona that we are a state that loves everybody and really wants to protect all people, regardless of their orientation, their gender, whatever it may be.
Arizona House Member Chad Campbell and Constitutional Attorney Paige Pate, thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Still to come.